Okie dokie. Last chapter of Frankenstein. I don't know if I'm going to do two parts. The book does switch up here a little bit, and I liked the ending of this book as for what it was. So Victor, his family's dead now, and his only mission is to kill this monster. So he leaves Geneva, and like my note says, revenge keeps him alive as he hunts his monster. He follows its tracks, and we get a bunch of pages of just Victor following this monster, some hardships, taunts from the monster, all of these things, and the monster's liking it. And so the monster hunts him and drags him up to the Arctic. So they travel north, and it's getting colder. The monster can deal with the cold, Victor can't. And Victor just gets madder and angrier and more negative self-talk. And he's just like, dude, and Victor, his only motive is he's gonna either kill the monster or die. And he's not dead yet. He's still trucking. And they go, and I could go into much more detail about the stories and how close he gets, and like with dogs letting dogs and all this. But really, it comes down to Victor's hunting the monster over this ice lake. Once again, up in the Arctic, pretty much beyond the Arctic Circle. And he runs, and he's about to die. And he's dying on the ice, but an icebreaker comes and saves him. So this is where the story shifts. And on this icebreaker, we're introduced, and the story totally changes perspective. And we change perspective to the icebreaker captain, this guy named Walton. And it's almost like he's you. It's like almost like you're the reader. And so Victor, for me, what it turned into was a lot of the book became this entire story was Victor telling Walton what he'd been going through his entire life. And so that's kind of where this book comes, and it turns into letters. And it turns into letters of Walton writing to his sister back in Europe of this dude he encountered. And so Walton is the leader of this boat. He's writing to his sister and talking to his voyage. And then the last chapter starts into this chronicle of the decline of Frankenstein's health, and Frankenstein gets more and more sick, and at one point in the story, the crew's like, dude, we've got to turn back. The weather's not too hot here. And by not too hot, I mean it's way too cold because they're in the Arctic. But Frankenstein gives a pep talk, and he's like, guys, do you want to be remembered for dying for a good cause or coming back like wimps with nothing? And then we get this letter written on September 11th, dated September 9th. And this is the end of the story. It's winding down right here. So the captain, the ice is bad. They're thinking about turning back. I'm pretty sure the captain tells Victor, hey, we're going to turn back for England. It's not safe. My name's need to stay alive. He's like, all right, dude, but I'm going to keep going after my monster, dude. It's headed north. And so Frankenstein, he's getting about to die, and Frankenstein says, hey, if I die, you got to kill my monster if you come across it. And then, so a little bit later, we find the captain, and he's chilling out on the deck this night. And I don't remember if he hears a shriek or not, but he goes into Frankenstein's room, and Frankenstein's there dead. And in the cabin where Frankenstein is the monster. And so then the monster monologues to him a little bit, and telling him, you know what, I think I should die now. And the monster monologues basically is what I wrote. And he's like, dude, I plan to kill myself. You know, my creator's gone. I don't want to bring any more evil into this world. I'm done. And the monster jumps out of the window. And that's really the end of the story. That's how Frankenstein ends. And so that's the end of Frankenstein. Victor dies. The monster jumps out of the window, supposedly going to kill himself. And that's the story.